Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and another snake episode. I'm going to show you through slightly different format. I'm going to show you through older footage of my mangrove snake, talk you through some key tips and tricks that work for me, her housing as she grew up, and I'll talk you through this enclosure as well at the end. Beautiful species, very iconic, certainly a little bit finicky and a little bit difficult at times, but not particularly hard because this is a captive bred animal, far removed really from those wild caught imports. Captive bred, always the way to go really, for healthy, much easier, much more acclimatized snakes and other reptiles for sure. Anyway, before we start, I often tell you guys on my social media, on this channel, that handling these snakes, nothing that's seriously venomous, just pick them up. Just pick them up. They'll soon realise that their viv defensive, their nervous behaviour will lead into aggression or pale away, and very, very quickly indeed, and you'll have a snake that's not bothered at all about being picked up, even a seemingly aggressive one. This girl here, my exception. I only ever pick her up when I move her from one enclosure to another as she's grown up. Never really handled her at all, and since a little tiny mite, she's always been of the opinion aggression is the best form of defense for sure. We're going to pick her up. Do you know what? I'm going to be a sap. It's Christmas Eve. I just don't want to risk having a swollen hand or anything else. I'm actually going to put a pair of gloves on. I don't use a snake hook. I never wear gloves, not for my collection of animals. Goodness me, I'm embarrassed to say I am. The last time I handled her, she bit me on my nipple through my t-shirt and it bled. How embarrassing is that? So a little bit of PPE, feel absolutely stupid wearing it, but let's see what she's like before we kick off the video. She's now 5 feet long. She's actually asleep now. This is her favourite place to sleep. Very active at night, but spends most of the day actually sleeping. So here she is, absolute magnificent beast. I did change my mind. I thought, come on, don't change the habits of a lifetime. This snake in the evening is super alert, super aggressive, not because she's mean, but because she tries to eat anything that comes into the enclosure, and I wouldn't pick her up in the dead of night for sure. She's just way too alert and active. Don't want it on the nose. On the nipple was just plenty. You can see she's absolutely gorgeous. She's got a long reach and a big gob, as they all do. They've got flip top heads when it comes to biting. No aggression. Can't believe what I'm being. No aggression at all, but I don't want that on the end of my big nose. They really are stunningly beautiful animals, but so highly alert when it comes to nipping things. Oh dear, I can't believe I've got an animal that's been so nice and I've been such an idiot. Even from a baby, she's been a bit of a creature. Unpredictable. Now, the only thing I can liken her to is a giant centipede. I used to handle the European giant centipedes, which only get to 4 inches long. They absolutely believe aggression is the best form of defense, and that's how she's always reminded me. Something that wants to kind of just say, get out of here, have a nip. Obviously it's not a feeding response, it's not a hanging on bite, it's just a big flip top head that actually saying clear off. If you look at her now, you think she's an absolute pussycat, and certainly nicer than many of the blue beauties and things that I've worked with for sure. False water cobras, I've had a couple of really good feeding bites off of those things. Nothing significant. The rear fanged Baron's racers, just pussycats, never even had anything, not even just the nicest things I've ever worked with. But this guy, just that bit more, I don't know, people don't seem to be sure or know as much about their rear fang venom, and I just think, it is Christmas Eve. I am being a the sad thing is, They feel like the softest, silkiest, rubbery texture. Really got a feel all their own. The first time I actually held a mangrove snake was a friend's a few years ago, and I just couldn't believe what they feel like. It's not feel-o-vision, but I really wish it was. They are, mind your nose, they are absolutely the softest, supplest, and I have to say, rubberiest texture you can imagine. I think she's done really, really well. In fact, she's the queen of my collection. Really, really is. She's just that animal that when I come out at night, keep that tongue a bit quicker if you don't mind. She's waking up to the fact something's going on. When I come out at night and see her, just nothing else like it. And it's just that, the fact that she doesn't do anything all day, but she's just a thing of beauty during the night. Mangrove snake, enjoy the rest of the video. I'll put her away now. What a good girl you are. Go on. Beautiful creature. What a darling. So here she is, fresh from the breeder, captive bred in the UK, and an established feeder. Pinky mice was what she was fed on, but she was kept quarantined. The powder in there are Taurus mites. I do not want mites getting into my collection. And she had a small heat mat under there. So it was around 32, just a little bit over, just at about a quarter or a third of the enclosure, down to around sort of the mid-20s at the other end. And that's kind of typical how I've kept her. She had a plastic plant hanging from the roof of the tub, and she was drop fed, but not eating on every feed, and sometimes a little bit picky. Hey. Little mangrove snake is certainly growing up fast. They sure are not only iconic, but aren't they absolutely beautiful creatures. Grow large, look beautiful, always ready to defend themselves, which they're well known for. But my goodness, I love this snake to pieces. It's really doing well, really growing well. And it's one of those snakes that anyone that keeps snakes probably has been in awe of since they were kids. Seen them in books or on wildlife programs. What an absolute beautiful. Oi! And there it is, living up to its name. The best defense for these, they think, is always offense. Absolutely stunningly beautiful creature. The key to getting this girl really established was actually, once she's got just a little bit bigger, moving her out of a rub into an 18-inch Exoterra that was about 2 foot high, really well planted, and she got in a routine, never seen in the day, but out prowling at night. Being an open front Exoterra where you can open the front doors, not the roof, to scare her, feeding her off forceps really worked and got her going in a routine. She actually got herself in a routine. She would come out at night, prowl around, I'd go in, turn the lights on in the room or just a small light in the background and offer her wrap-ups at this stage, offer forceps, and I can tell you now, she originally struck them out of aggression and fear, and I kept very, very still, and if she kept one in her mouth, then we really sort of got somewhere, and I just kept still with the lights down low while she swallowed that food. And she soon got in this routine of she'd digest, I wouldn't see her for 2 or 3 nights, and once she was hungry again, she would come out on the prowl and I'd feed her, and I'd let her dictate the feeding regime, and from then on in, it's been absolutely fine. She feeds off forceps now, she eats fully grown mice, small rats and day old cockerels with ease, and usually has multiples. But it was that routine of feeding her from forceps from that open fronted enclosure that you could open up yourself very, very gently without scaring her away when she was younger, and just getting her to strike her what was on the forceps. If you have her in a rub like she started, she did drop feed, but the difficult was she didn't always feed, and taking the lid off just scared her into sort of bolting and hiding, and obviously then the food response had gone from sort of tease feeding. And really from then on in, it's been a routine that she's dictated to all along, although nowadays she's out pretty much every single night and she doesn't get fed every single night. So this is her now. She's 5 feet long, almost exactly to the inch, and this is her typical routine. So the room's lit so you can see this, but she's out on the prowl at night in the dark. I've just come in as usual, turn the light on, she's out, it's feed day, and she doesn't hesitate. And she'll now drop feed, so she's had that one off the forceps, but if I leave another 1 or 2 food items in there, they'll be gone in the morning. She's bolder than she was when she was young. Just like all hatchie snakes, remember, everything wants to eat you as a hatchling. It makes you nervous and frightened. So we're filming at night, so she's popped out to say hello. But now I've got awkward lighting everywhere. So there she is. Gonna go through the glass. No, we're not. She's got a long old reach and we're getting close. Pretty chunky, but that's because she was fed yesterday. Tend to feed a small multiple item, so a couple of mice and 3 chicks, or a couple of mice and a chick, or a couple of 3 chicks at a time. Once a week now. Look at her. Absolutely gorgeous, and sits around most of the day, but at night time she's that pleasant animal that when I come in here I get to see her cruising around or stretched out or in classic poses. Let's show you the enclosure. So we're going to get a bit of reflective glare here. So at the moment it's 5 foot across, 4 foot high and 2 foot back. I love skin dapsus for anything that's semi-naturalistic and living. It takes a lot of abuse It grows easily in a damp substrate of any kind, and it does grow. Up here we had a variety of other plants in a dampened trough behind here, and she's battered the hell out of them. Something's growing, but this stuff is going okay. Now, being a wooden vivarium, not very well sealed, the substrate now tends to be quite dry. That's more for the woodwork than it is for her. But of course, up here, where's my finger? Sort of 6-inch deep moist substrate in a box, in a tray, and the same here. We've used an old glass aquarium, shallow aquarium. So plenty of moisture, plenty of humidity, and the plants as well growing in there. Not very artistically, I don't think, but we've got we've got a couple of hanging baskets which she does seem to use with other plants in there. Let me swap sides, hold on. Water bowl she can curl up in. She never bathes, but she does go down there and drink quite often, but there is plenty of room in there. Lots of different things to climb on, but lots of space. But critically, this room's heated to a minimum of 21 degrees Celsius, so bear in mind that background heat is always here. There's a probe there and a ceramic there. Here it's about 30 to 35 Celsius, depending on how that's, you know, pulsating, but it's around that sort of 32 most of the time. So she's got a good basking spot up there. Tends to only use it at night, but even if she's up there, obviously it's warmer than when she's down here. But I'm going to flip you across again, hold on. And down here is another ceramic, a lower wattage. They're both on the same thermostat, and down here it's about 25. My finger's not in shot anywhere today. Hang on, there it is. Whee! Down there, lower down, excuse me, leaf. We're looking at about 25 C. She spends nearly a whole day down there. Quite a cool area. Sometimes she'll sleep up top here, but nearly always now she sleeps on the ground. But once those lights are out, she's incredibly active, even when she's well fed. She's always active at night. As I say, even the night after she was fed well. A beautiful creature. I hope you've enjoyed meeting her. I certainly enjoy seeing her. Don't forget to subscribe. I think if you can get a mangrove snake in something like a semi-naturalistic setup, the glare's rubbish because her lighting is off. Oh, on that note, so sorry, that's before you go. Have a look up there. Just a cheap LED strip light. The room is lit all day to this degree anyway. Lighting important for the plants. Of course, it needs some amount of lighting, but Scindapsus is pretty good, quite low light tolerant. But of course, from her point of view, she's not too fussed whatsoever. Like and subscribe, and obviously then, hopefully, God, I'm waffling. Do you know what? It's Christmas Eve. I've had a couple of wines. But you get the gist. Like and subscribe, help grow the channel, and you'll get to meet other stuff as we go on. And have a damn good Christmas, everybody.